right, so I'm going to do my very first video using this program, and so make that go away. All right, so we are going to do notes on using order of operations. Some of you are really good at this, and some of you are not. So title your notes today is 8, I think it'll be 8/6 or 8/7 or whatever day it is, 18. And let's title this order of operations. And a lot of you know this as PEMDAS, but I want you to write the PEMDAS like this. It's parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide from left to right, and add and subtract from left to right. Because when you're doing order of operations, you don't always multiply first. It depends on the order of the problem. So we're going to do a basic one first. And so this is going to be example 1. And the problem goes 2 plus 12 divided by 2 plus 1. So in this case, I'm going to look, and I don't have any parentheses, so I'm not going to worry about that. There's no exponents. Now it's multiply and divide from left to right, and I don't have any multiplication, but I have division. So the two numbers that are next to the division symbol is what I'm going to do. So that equals, remember I want you to write every step. So 2 plus 12 divided by 2 is 6 plus 1. And now we're just going to do basic addition. And again, I know you could do that in your head, but I want one step at a time. So 2 plus 6 is 8 plus 1 more. And now finally our answer is 9. So when you show your work, I want to see each of these lines like I have here. Your final answer is circled. And please make sure that you have this equal signs here, because this whole thing here all together equals each step, which finally equals 9. So that's example 1. And I'm going to move, I think I have to do another sheet. So finish example 1. And this is actually somewhere in your worksheet you're going to have to use. So I'll let you find which one that is. And I'm going to clear and do example 2. So you can pause this to finish writing. And I'm going to erase this so that I have room for example 2. And so there's example. I'm going to reuse my PEMDAS, and so I'm just going to cross that out. Go back to my pencil, make it a little bigger this time. So now I am in example 2. And example 2 is a lot more complicated because you're in math 2, or even in my actually I think usually in my math 2 class. So I'm going to give you this problem. So we have brackets, and we have -3 with the parentheses squared. So that's -3 squared. If the parentheses weren't there, it would be 3 squared and the opposite of that. And then I have plus -8, and then that's a plus sign here. And then I have times -3 minus -7 plus -9. So that's a long one. Go ahead, and if you want to pause this, go ahead and try that on your own, and then you can see if your answer matches mine. If not, then you can erase and find your mistakes. So here we go. So I want to look at my parentheses first. So I have this bracket. The parentheses could look like parentheses or these brackets, or even if they're nested inside, you have these braces. Those are all parentheses. And if you see a square root, the square root acts as your parentheses too. So whatever is in here is what you have to do first. So here we go. I have -3 squared. So that would be, remember, -3 squared means -3 times -3. That's what that means. And so that would be negative times negative is positive. 3 times 3 is 9, plus -8, close brackets, times -3. And this minus a negative, I always say add the opposite. I want as much positive as I can. And so I'm going to change this subtracting the negative to adding the opposite, or adding a positive. So I'm going to say it's plus 7. Makes it much easier. And then plus -9. And so now I'm going to go down in here. My next line, 9 plus -8 gives me a positive 1. And then everything else is going to get written plus or times negative 3 plus 7 plus negative 9. Now I have multiplication and addition, so I'm going to do multiplication first. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3 plus 7 plus negative 9. And now we're just going to do our addition, but these are negatives. So remember, negative 3 plus 7, they're different signs, so we subtract. So we get a positive 4 plus negative 9. And last but not least, 4 plus negative 9, different signs of subtract. So 9 minus 4 is 5. There's more negatives though, so my answer is negative 5. So if you got that, congratulations. That was quite the doozy. I hope that helps you in practicing today in class or your homework or whenever you're working on these problems. See you soon.